Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay, now we will explain about the managing change, about the chapter of managing change, atau disebut dengan manajemen perubahan. So, what is in the managing change? What must we do in managing change in organizations? We are from the group chapter 8, and we will to introduce ourselves first. My name is Anissa Lisiani, and my partner is Satria Citrakusuma. We will explain it too. Okay. Before we next for the slide 2, I will to explain about the managing change. Maybe from the you know about the managing change. What is the managing change? Managing change is a strategy to prepare, equip, and support an individual in the organization to be able to adopt change to drive organizational success. Jadi, perubahan adalah sebuah keniscayaan. Semua industri besar ataupun kecil itu pasti mengalami perubahan. Oleh karena itu, kemampuan mengelola perubahan dan menjalankannya menjadi krusial bagi setiap bisnis. So, perubahan lingkungan, bisnis, ekonomi lokal maupun global, serta kemajuan teknologi membuat sebagian besar organisasi saat ini berada dalam situasi yang terus berubah. Nah, perubahan di dalam organisasi seperti sekarang ini itu akan mengarah ke perubahan dalam proses, sistem, dan strategi organisasi. Hal ini penting dilakukan ya teman-teman, manajemen perubahan di dalam organisasi untuk terus berubah dan berkembang supaya agar tetap bertumbuh, berkembang, dan juga tetap kompetitif dengan para pesaingnya. Agar perubahan memberikan dampak positif, maka organisasi itu harus mengelola perubahan secara efektif pula. So that's why the managing change is important in organization. Okay, next, what we will learn? Okay. This is a overview of a change activities. Apa aja sih aktivitas yang perlu dilakukan dalam mewujudkan effective change management in this chapter? There is a 5 ways. There is a 5 strategies. First is motivating change. Motivating change, creating a vision, developing political support, and fourth, managing the transition, and the last is sustaining momentum. But I will explain about the motivating change, creating a vision, and developing political support. But for my partner, Satria, we will explain about the managing transition and sustaining momentum. Okay, next ya. Okay. So, apa sih arti dari sebuah motivating change? What is the meaning of motivating change? We must prepare the people in the organization regarding the change that will be faced. Without proper preparation and motivation, change will fail halfway. This can be done by analyzing what are the barriers to change, why people resist change, and how to change conditions that resist change into committed supported. And motivating change there is 2. Apa saja sih yang harus dirubah di dalam motivating change itu? Yang pertama, for the first, creating readiness for change, and the second is overcoming resistance to change. Creating readiness for change. creating readiness for change, one of the important challenges in preparing for change is the willingness of organizational members to make change. This will not be realized if the members of the organization are still not aware of the need for change. Therefore, to make organizational members change, only the role of the leader to explain the importance of change. So there's a three method. Method can help generate sufficient disactivation to produce change. What are they? Yang pertama, for the first is you can first sensitive organization to pressures for change. Membuat organisasi peka terhadap tekanan untuk perubahan. Maksudnya gimana sih di dalam yang sensitive organization pressure for change itu modern organization face unprecedented environmental pressure to change themselves, including heavy foreign competition, rapidly changing technology, and volatile global economic. Interpersonal pressure to change include new leadership, poor product quality, high production costs, and excessive employee absenteeism and turnover. Before this pressure can serve as trigger for change, however, organizations must be sensitive to them. So this is the first method. And the second is the reveal discrepancies between current and desired states. Artinya itu mengungkapkan perbedaan antara keadaan saat ini dan keadaan yang diinginkan. Jadi harus tahu ya keadaan yang saat ini tuh pengen seperti apa kondisinya, harus melakukan suatu perubahan dan yang kedepannya tuh keinginannya itu seperti apa. And the last is the convey credible positive expectation for the change. Jadi sampaikan ekspektasi positif yang kredibel terhadap perubahan. Oke, for the two, yang kedua itu adalah overcoming resistance to change. Jadi menyelesaikan penolakan terhadap perubahan. Bagaimana sih cara mengatasi penolakan kalau ada yang menolak terhadap perubahan? Change can generate deep resistance in people and in organizations, thus making it difficult, if not impossible, to implement organizational improvement. At the personal level, change can arouse considerable anxiety about letting go of the known and moving to uncertain future. Jadi alasan orang itu menolak terhadap perubahan itu pasti mereka takut ya untuk bergerak maju atau takut untuk tidak dihargai apresiasi mereka. Dan juga takut terhadap sesuatu yang tidak pasti ke depannya. Lalu bagaimana strategi yang digunakan to dealing with change in an organization? Bagaimana? For the first, we will use empathy and support. Jadi gunakanlah empati dan support kita di dalam organisasi tersebut. And the second, yang sangat penting sekali, memang yang kedua adalah komunikasi. Communication in organization is important. Karena dengan adanya komunikasi, menjalankan komunikasi, kita jadi tahu apa yang mau diinginkan ke depannya itu seperti apa, hambatannya apa aja, itu dibicarakan secara bersama. And the last is the participant and involvement. Oke, yang kedua, dari effective change management itu adalah creating a vision. Leader in the organization must articulate a clear vision that describes what the change effort is striving to accomplish. Ideally, people in the organization have strong input to the creation of the vision and how it can be achieved. The vision should clearly depict how the achievement of the vision will improve in the organization. It's critically important that people believe that the vision is relevant and realistic. Jadi seorang leader di dalam organisasi itu harus mempunyai visi. Karena visi creating a vision atau membuat suatu visi itu adalah kunci utama dari leadership framework. Ya, salah satu syarat ciri-ciri dari leadership framework itu salah satunya adalah creating a vision. Untuk membuat suatu visi yang menarik itu harus melakukan dua hal berikut ini dari seorang leader. Yang pertama, for the first is describing the core ideology and the second is constructing the envisaged future. Apa sih arti dari core ideology atau ideologi ini sendiri? Jadi teman-teman, di dalam sebuah perusahaan menurut James C. Collins and Jerry E. Paras itu harus memiliki visi. Nah, visi sendiri itu memiliki dua komponen utama, yaitu harus memiliki core ideologi. Artinya, core ideologi itu sifatnya tidak berubah-ubah atau konsisten, bisa menginspirasi individu-individu yang berada dalam perusahaan tersebut. Dan yang kedua, envisioned future, constructing the efficient future, atau kita harus memandang masa depan, jangka waktu 10 sampai 30 tahun ke depan itu akan seperti apa. Wajah perusahaan atau kondisi masyarakat perusahaan ke depan itu harus dipikirkan juga dalam membuat creating a vision ini. Jadi sebelum membuat creating vision harus memperhatikan dua hal, yaitu memperhatikan core ideology and the second is envisioned future. Nah, contoh example for the company that has create a vision. There is nggak apa-apa ya, saya akan jelasin sedikit dari contoh dari creating vision perusahaannya. Nanti mungkin akan lebih dijelaskan lagi contohnya oleh kelompok yang akan menjelaskan tentang contoh perusahaannya. Contohnya yang dari creating a vision itu adalah Sony. Perusahaan Sony ini itu adalah mereka memperhatikan creating vision-nya itu adalah memperhatikan dua aspek ini, yaitu core ideologi dan juga envisioned future. Jadi core ideologi mereka atau core value-nya mereka tuh ingin elevating Japan national culture. Harus elevating Japan national culture. For the second is being a pioneer, not imitating others and doing what is considered impossible. And the third, encourage individual ability and creativity. Dan tujuan core purpose mereka itu yaitu ingin memberikan pengalaman inovasi yang mereka buat dan dapat mengimplementasi teknologi mereka untuk masyarakat luas. Jadi tujuan mereka dalam core purpose ini, dalam perusahaan Sony ini, mereka ingin menciptakan inovasi dan teknologi itu bisa dipakai atau dinikmati oleh masyarakat luas. Dan envisioned future itu adalah envisioned future-nya untuk jangka panjang, tujuan jangka panjang ke depannya itu adalah to become a company that is known as a world image changer regarding product made in Japan. Itu tujuan jangka panjang mereka seperti itu. Oke, next. Nah, for the last, I will explain about the developing political support. Everything involves many stakeholders. For that, we must know who they are, what power they have to support change, and ultimately how to influence them to support the change brought about. Managing political dynamic involves assessing the power of change. Again, identifying key stakeholder in the company and influencing stakeholder. Change agent can be company leaders or consultant who are contract to make change. Jadi untuk manajemen perubahan itu kan di dalam sebuah organisasi itu kan pasti ada, di dalam sebuah bisnis pasti ada para pemegang saham. Jadi kita harus gimana caranya mempengaruhi mereka, mempengaruhi influencing a stakeholder, dan membuat kesepakatan apakah perubahan ini itu disetujui oleh para pemegang saham ataukah tidak, gitu. Okay, for the next is will explain with my partner Satria.
Number 4, managing the transition layer. This diagram, first is current state, second is transition state, and third is desired future state. What is the meaning of this diagram? So if you want to be a change your goal, you must have the transition state. Also, Bacon and Harris pointed out that there are three identified major activities and structure to facilitate the transition, such as first, activity planning, second, commitment planning, third, change management structure. Next. So this is the definition of the activity planning. The activity planning is a roadmap that changes the specific activities and event so they have a midpoint goal before the desired future state. The midpoint goal is clearer because we still have to do an improvement in the process. The midpoint goal is an establishment of some number of improvement and control key process. The activity plan who has a midpoint goal can be used for a direction toward the desirable future goal. Number 2 is commitment planning. These commitments are used to identifying the people or group who have the ability to change and formulating the strategy. So we must choose the people who have this commitment in the organization, because if people have the commitment, your organization will be you will be easier for reaching your midpoint goal in activity planning. Number 3 is change management structure. The organization sometimes tedious and need direction. So we need to make a management structures that include people who have a power to mobilize the resources to promote change, such as the respect existing leaders and change advocates. In these change management structures, the high demand skills such as interpersonal and political skills are needed in this situation, because you must have the dynamic speaking skills and improving the others. Next, the learning process. Most of the organization, most of the organizations change involve the acquisition of new knowledge and skill to support new behavior. Research at the Center for Effective Organization suggests leaders who can properly design the learning process into this transition will have a chance clearly other than others organization. There are 4 model of learning practice. First, creating a system and let the individual see how far their performance goes. The impact is they will see how their act can support a chance that they will feel easier when they pick up some new skills to answer a high demand job and make a new behavior. So this is a direct impact. Number 2, provide people to making a sense of change by providing them a tools. The impact in the process is the main variable in this process is language and process, the process itself. Leader must take this opportunity by lowering the anxiety in organizational area, so the people will develop a shared reality, creating a same common ways to how viewing this problem. So leader must know how to view this problem, and the process will allow people to learn more quickly because leader can solve the problem. Next. Number 3, leader must assessing and review any activities uh, in this learning process. Leaders and the other people do an assessment to ask a new behavior or any attempt in their organization. So they can learn what are we learn from this new behavior. So there will be a ton of answer we get from the assessment, but from them we can recorrect and redefine the behaviors with the organizational ethics. Number 4, decentralizing the process and implementation to the lowest level of organization. This process used because of the complexity of the program. There are too many numbers, variable, uncertainties, contingency, and it is programmed from top level until C level. If the change already in process, it will accelerating all the program because it is because this process is all of in program. If the change already in process, it will be an accelerating program. Conclusion, therefore, learning practice are held together by conversation and dialogue. We need to understand other individuals' experience to reflect the change, so it will integrate it and practice and accelerate the change. Next. Number 5, sustaining momentum. Sustaining momentum is all about keeping your eye on the goal and focusing on what is possible. Once the organization changes are under the way, we need to focusing all the excitement to face the practical problems. There are 5 solutions to carrying the change through completion. First, providing resources for change. Second, building a support system for change agents. Third, developing new competencies and skills. 4, reinforcing new behavior. 5, staying the course. So this is from our presentation. This is the material from our presentation, and this is our quotes from internet. The greatest dangers in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic. From Peter Drucker. Thank you.